So good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Sam Williamson. I'm the Western Pennsylvania Director of SEIU Local 32BJ, and really happy to be here to announce the negotiation and ratification as of Friday of a new 4-year union contract covering 1,100 security officers who work for 14 different companies all across the city of Pittsburgh. And particularly proud to be here in the mayor's office with Mayor Peduto to announce this victory and talk about what it means, not only for our members in 32BJ, but for communities all across Pittsburgh. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the details of the settlement, then let a couple of the impacted workers who were part of the union's negotiating committee talk about what it means for them, hear some comments from the mayor, and then we'll have Reverend Ron Wanless from the Pennsylvania Interfaith Impact Network talk about this from the perspective of the faith community. So first, I want to talk a little bit about who these workers are. These are 1,100 security officers who work securing the biggest buildings and institutions all across the city of Pittsburgh. So from our universities to our museums to our downtown skyscrapers, these are the folks who really are the first line of defense when something goes wrong in any of our major buildings. They keep us safe day in and day out. They respond to health emergencies. They interact and interface with first responders. And in an era of unfortunately increasing workplace violence, their jobs are increasingly important to maintain peace and stability in our workplaces. But these jobs, for far too long in Pittsburgh, paid poverty wages and did not pay enough to allow people to actually take care of themselves. So beginning in 2014, workers began to organize a union, and in 2015, won their first ever union contract. At that time, just 3 years ago, most workers, the vast majority of them, made less than $10 an hour. Only 15% of full-time workers had health benefits through their employer. Turnover was astronomical, and no one could afford to pay their basic bills or take care of themselves and their families. As a result of that first contract, which expired just this past September, wages went up by over $2 an hour. Every single worker won free health insurance paid by their employer. And we saw the workforce actually begin to stabilize, the quality of the employee increase, and of course, people were able actually to invest in their communities and begin to take care of themselves for the first time. Our goal going into contract negotiations this August was to continue that progress that we began 3 years ago, and to work with the employers to make sure that we reached an agreement that continued to invest in people's pay and benefits to improve the quality of these jobs. And that is exactly what we accomplished. So under this new contract, these workers will receive about a 23% increase in pay and benefits. Wage increases range from $2.45 to $2.95 per hour. By the end of this contract, no security officer working in any of our major facilities will be paid less than $14.20 an hour, and the majority will be at or above $15 an hour. This is an investment of over $1.7 million per year into low-income communities across the city of Pittsburgh. It's a total overall investment of over $7 million into the pockets and the families of the people who need it most. And those are the investments that actually allow us to build a real middle-class economy in Pittsburgh. Those are the investment that allow us to make sure that the progress that we're seeing all across the city of Pittsburgh actually lifts all boats and has a positive impact on all of our communities. So that's why we are so proud to be here to talk about this settlement, what it means not only to our members, but to their communities and to all Pittsburghers across the region. One last thing that I want to say, which is that there are some folks across our society, including the Republican candidate for governor, who would argue that the era of unions is in our past, who would argue that unions are no longer relevant or needed or necessary to build a strong economy or to help workers succeed. This settlement, the progress that these workers have made, is proof that that is anything but the truth. Only through the power of collective bargaining, only through the union and through 32BJ were these workers able to improve these jobs. And in a very short period of time, we're talking about a period of just a few years, we have taken over 1,000 jobs in Pittsburgh and turned them from jobs in which could support no one's family into jobs that we can all be proud of and that actually help us build a middle class for all across the city of Pittsburgh. So we have a lot of folks to thank for this. We have a lot of folks all across the labor movement who stood with us through this campaign, from Darren Kelly, the president of the Allegheny County Labor Council, who intended to be here with us this morning, but was surprised by a visit from Rich Trumka this morning, to other unions, to every elected official from Governor Wolf, to Rich Fitzgerald, to City Council, and of course to Mayor Peduto, who stood with us and said unequivocally and clearly throughout this process that investing in these workers was the right thing for our economy, the right thing to do, and pushed employers to negotiate a fair contract that actually will transform these jobs for the better. So with that, I want to introduce a couple of the workers who were part of that process to talk about these gains from their perspective. First, I want to introduce Tanika Haruna, who's a security officer here in Pittsburgh.
Hello, everyone. I am Tanika Haruna. I am a proud 32BJ officer. I am here today to thank Mayor Peduto, Governor Wolf, city officials, Penn, other elected officials, union, and allies. Thank you so very much for helping us to get to this point. We couldn't have gotten to this point without your support. I am glad we were able to work together with our employers to reach an agreement. This agreement will help hardworking security officers support themselves as well as their families. I was here 4 years ago when we organized. Many officers were making slightly over minimum wage at that time. This contract shows progress. We have no one is going to give us anything. We fight hard to sit there and get what we want. I am proud of this accomplishment and all it means. Now I have a chance to go back to school and do all the things that I've always wanted to do. Thank you, and thank you all for all your support.
And next, I'm happy to introduce Joshua Kunkel, who is a security officer downtown, and actually at times has had to work 2 jobs, and at times 2 full-time security jobs in order to take care of his family and pay his bills.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joshua Kunkel. I just want to say thank you to Mayor Peduto, Governor Wolf, and all of our other elected officials that stand with us in this labor movement. I'm proud to be part of this part in history. At a time when labor unions are under attack, reaching this agreement with our employers shows we can work together for good union jobs that are still needed in the city of Pittsburgh. It means a lot to see your wages increase, where you can provide for yourself, your loved ones, and your communities. As a father, this means I can put a little extra aside to take my son to the aviary or other activities that he likes to do. If I want to treat him to pizza or chicken nuggets for dinner, I can make that happen. I can put a little aside for a rainy day in case that happens. Being able to preserve our health benefits as well, and that means dental, eye, and health, means a lot, and you can't put a price tag on that. I've been a security officer for a while now. I enjoy assisting the tenants in my building. I consider this to be a career. I am proud to be one of more than 1,100 security officers across the city and helping to make these jobs good union jobs. Years down the line, I will be able to feel like the commercial officer cleaners in this city and know that I was a part of carving a path to sustainable jobs for those behind me to come. Thank you, and Union Strong.
So Josh and Tanika are really just two of, as I said, over 1,000 security officers who are impacted by this progress. And on Friday, hundreds turned out to overwhelmingly ratify this contract, which goes into effect immediately. Some of the employers, range from huge multinational corporations who do this work all across the globe to small companies that are based and operate just here in Pittsburgh. But every single one came together through this process to agree to this contract and the investments in these workers and in the city of Pittsburgh. So with no further ado, I'm honored to bring up Mayor William Peduto to talk about the settlement from his perspective. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Tanika. Thank you, Josh. I just don't want to take away the incredible magnitude of what you've been able to accomplish. In a country that has been going in the opposite direction, you have given back to Pittsburgh the ability to show that workers' rights matter. You've been able to show to other cities around this country that if you organize and you work together as a team, anything is possible. You've taken an industry that since September 11th has been absolutely instrumental to public safety. An industry where whenever our responders go into the building, the first people they look for are the security guards, whether it's fire, whether it's EMS, whether it's police. An industry that had not been organized before, and you organized it in little under 4 years. But you didn't only do that. You brought the standard up so that the prosperity that we're seeing throughout the city is helping all. This is the exact model of economic growth that is for all. And what you've been able to do is to show other people in other cities that there is an opportunity. And I hope you understand that. This is a big moment. This is going against the grain and being able to show that there still is that opportunity to build towards the middle class, that there still is the opportunity to go up the ladder, and to be able to recognize that the investment in people is the criteria by which we want to be able to view our city. Sam, to the leadership that you have provided, to the leadership that Gabe has provided, first with the folks that take care of our offices, now with those that protect us in our buildings. You have not only been able to rebuild 2 different industries into the middle class, but at the same time, you're rebuilding neighborhoods throughout the city of Pittsburgh. This is what we want to be able to do. We want to work with you. We want to work on the training to make sure that this city is safe. We want to work to make sure that there's coordination between the jobs you're doing and what our public safety officials are doing. And then we want to make the industry into a career that is there for your life and for the people who will come afterwards. But I can't say enough how proud I am of every one of the people who've been behind this effort. You've shown that if we work together, anything is possible. You've proven it. And you've proven it in a way that this country will take note. I also want to thank my friend from across the street, I guess that street, Rich Fitzgerald. Having the county executive be able to reach out to the property owners, reach out to the building managers, and being able to say, hey, look, guys, we're seeing great prosperity. You're seeing the highest rents that we've seen. It's time we share it with those that are protecting us. Helps to bring them to the table as well.
Yes.
And at that same time, to the property owners and the business managers, thank you for realizing the talent that you have and for paying them what they're worth and providing them health care to take care of themselves and their families. I think that everyone can agree this is the type of city we want to live in. Thank you, Sam.
And finally, to close us out, before we'll have a chance to take questions if there are any, Reverend Ron Wanless from the Pennsylvania Interfaith Impact Network.
Pennsylvania Interfaith Impact Network is indeed a body of faith communities, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, who work on common issues. And this issue with 32BJ and these security people is a justice issue. Workers' rights are a justice issue. Whether you want to look at the Quran, the Hebrew Scriptures, sometimes called the Old Testament, or the words of Jesus, or the 5th chapter of James, workers and workers' rights and democracy in the workplace are crucial for everybody. And what these people have done is indeed taken a faith stance for justice by their organizing and being together. Mayor and the City Council, I thank you for being cognizant of justice. It is a faith issue. And if we can and continue to build strong unions, we will have less violence, we will have less hunger, we will have less poverty, and that, all of those things, are justice issues. And for the Pennsylvania Interfaith Impact Network, thank you, 32BJ, for being there when you needed to be.
So, I don't think the mayor is much of a t-shirt man. But we did bring a t-shirt for him so he can stand with security in the streets if he so chooses.
I gotta tell you, I love the bat signal. Absolutely love it. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
So thank you. If there are questions, we can take them, and if not, that concludes the press conference.